Bienvenidos a todos y todas. Welcome to another episode of Pase Ambidiestro, Ambidextrous Pass. Fútbol honestamente, soccer, fútbol honestly. El día de hoy estamos aquí para dar un resumen breve de la Champions League. Todos aquellos fanáticos del fútbol que vemos el fútbol, vimos todos aquellos que pueden captar los partidos y ver todos los partidos, que son cerca de 18 partidos. Se juegan normalmente 9 partidos cada día, que son los martes y los miércoles. For all of those that are here, we will be giving a brief summary on the Champions League. And for all of those that watch these games, that can watch these games, it's 18 games in total. It's usually 9 games on Tuesday and then 9 games on Wednesday. And this Champions League is moving on this league phase. There's only 2 more match days left. We have what is match day 6 that took place this past Tuesday and Wednesday. And today we'll be giving a brief summary on what happened in these games. And we'll be seeing what teams are already qualified for the knockout stage and what teams have to go to the playoff of the knockout to qualify to the round of 16. So it's a Champions League that has always great games, but overall we can see that the game that a lot of people were waiting for is that Manchester City Real Madrid. And for those that saw the game, for those that saw the results, it was a great game. Overall, something that we all most likely expected. It's one of those games that whenever each team grabs and drives the ball, it's just a high race of what can happen, what's going to happen. So, on that point, vamos a enfocarnos en un resumen de la Champions, y creo que para todos esos que vimos la Champions esta semana, muchos estamos esperando este partido, que es el partido de Real Madrid contra el Manchester City, un partido en el cual vemos que siempre que estos equipos así grandes juegan, cada vez que uno de los dos equipos agarra el balón, es como que un momento de adrenalina. ¿Qué podrá pasar? ¿Qué va a pasar? Cada vez que un equipo juega al ataque, es uno de esos partidos que siempre te pone una adrenalina muy alta y nunca decepciona. Es uno de esos partidos que creo que se está convirtiendo un poco más en un derbi europeo. Jugador que dice es Bernardo Silva, que dice que ya parece que fuera un partido de liga, un partido liguero, porque se están jugando partidos así ahora más en esta Champions, que está en la fase de liga. Se están jugando muy repetitivos estos partidos. Y sí, son buenos partidos, pero cuando das un producto muy seguido, empieza a quitarle esa atracción de lo que es el partido en sí. Pero siempre son buenos partidos, es la Champions League, siempre va a haber competencia, siempre va a haber sorpresas, siempre va a haber buen fútbol técnico, físico, teorías de diferentes países europeos y su fútbol se viene a aplicar en esta plataforma que es la Champions League. Pero vamos a comenzar para dar este resumen. We're gonna start giving this summary of what happened in Champions League Match Day 6. Vamos a dar este resumen que sucedió, un resumen breve de lo que sucedió en esta Champions League, en la jornada 6, que son 8 partidos, ya solo quedan 2 partidos y ya casi unos 5 o 4 equipos están decididos que van a pasar y van a estar calificados automáticamente a lo que es a la ronda de 16. que son la ronda de octavos. Y después se va a jugar del noveno hasta el puesto número 24. Se va a jugar lo que es el knockout, donde muchos vamos a ver partidos de ida y vuelta. Y después solo van a haber 8 equipos que califican de ahí para ver los 8 que calificaron directamente en la fase de liga. Pero vamos a enfocarnos en esta Champions League, jornada 6, Champions League Matchday 6. Una Champions League que fue muy buena, sigue siendo buena, siempre hay buenos partidos, en cada jornada se están dando buenos partidos. But a Champions League that starts with a Kierat and Olympiacos. The Greek side secured a narrow away win in Kazakhstan late in the second half. And Kairat is in the 36th spot and Olympiacos is in the 29th spot. Then we have a Bayern Munich against Sporting. Bayern Munich that wins 3-1. Bayern staged a stunning comeback in Allianz Arena. And after falling behind early, the German Giants scored 3 goals in the second half to secure their spot near the top of the table. Alphonso Davies comes back after 9 months out. Krall keeps showing his talent on the big stage. The kid is so bright, and Bayern are in the second spot and Sporting is in the 14th spot. Bayern most likely confirms the qualification for the knockouts. Moving on, we have an Atalanta against a Chelsea. An Atalanta that wins 2-1. Chelsea's unbeaten run came to an end when it comes to the Champions League. And Atalanta capitalized on the defense's lapse to secure 3 points, leapfrogging Chelsea in the standings. Atalanta is in the 5th spot and Chelsea is in the 13th spot. Chelsea missed the chance to seal an early qualification to the round of 16, but still 2 more games left. Not everything is decided, but some teams are decided. Going on, we have a Monaco against a Galatasaray. A Monaco that won at home 1-0. A solitary goal was enough for Monaco to edge past the Turkish champions in the tight tactical affair. Monaco is in the 19th spot and Galatasaray is in the 18th spot. After the game, we have a Union Saint-Gilloise against a Marseille. A Union that lost to Marseille 3-2. And Marseille won an entertaining end-to-end match in Belgium, keeping their knockout hopes alive. Greenwood that scored a brace and secured the win is having a great season. This guy is having a great season. What England called him, I think they should, but we know what went on and why he had to leave Manchester United. He is what he is at the moment. But this guy is picking up pace, he's picking up rhythm, and he is getting on fire, reaching a great form. And it's only not even half of the season, it's only the beginning. We're only in the beginning phase of the season, so he still has a lot more goals to score, a lot more rhythm to pick up. And Greenwood gives Marseille 2 goals to get this win. And Union that is in the 27th spot and Marseille that is in the 16th spot. Then we have a PSV against an Atletico de Madrid. A 5-goal thriller, so Atletico edged out PSV in the Netherlands. Diego Simeone's men showed their trademark resilience to hold on to lead the late game. And Atletico is currently on the edge between going to the knockout stages or qualifying directly. So it's one of those teams that it's not secure. It all depends what happens in the next 2 games, match day 7 and match day 8. And PSV is in the 21st spot and Atletico is in the 8th spot. Atletico is right in the edge of going through and waiting in the round of 16, or they can go to the knockout stage. It's all going to be decided in the next 2 games. Going on, we have a Barcelona against an Eintracht Frankfurt. Barcelona bounced back from previous stumbles with a gritty win at home, and the victory ensures they can remain in contention for the top 8 with 2 games left to get that position of top 8. Barcelona started the game losing and got 2 goals from Koundé, one in the 50th minute and one in the 53rd minute. 2 goals that were just separated by 3 minutes to get this win for Barcelona. Barcelona that is in the 15th spot and an Eintracht Frankfurt that is in the 30th spot. Then you have a Inter Milan against a Liverpool. A game that was lost at Inter's home in San Siro. In a high-stake clash at San Siro, Liverpool snatched a vital away victory against Inter late in the second half in the 88th minute from a penalty that was taken by Surboslai, since we know the main penalty taker was not there. The win was a massive morale booster for Slot's side, and who have faced scrutiny recently. A goal that came from a controversial goal, a shirt pulled by Bastoni inside the area that takes words down, and a penalty that it was awarded. Inter that is in the 6th spot and Liverpool that is in the 9th spot. Liverpool is also on that edge, right where Atletico Madrid is. All depends what happens in the next 2 games. Liverpool can get themselves in the top 8 and qualify directly, or if they lose and they win or they tie, things can go different. It's a tight spot, tight areas. We will be seeing the table after this brief summary, and we will be seeing how things can change and from what positions to what position things can change. But Liverpool played without Mohamed, as we know, and he was not even in the squad list. Amidst the reports of internal friction, his absence made the win even more significant. So that means, can they win without him? Do they really need him? It's really a hard time going on in Liverpool. And again, he's a great player. Something I focused earlier on this week. After that weekend, he's a great player. He has done a lot. He has achieved a lot for Liverpool. He has brought a lot of things to the table. But sometimes when you're going through problems in a club and the club is facing hard time too, it's better off for you to keep things internal, not to do any harsh decisions that can only make the atmosphere in the locker room more tense. And only Salah will know how to manage this situation because he was the one who created it. He's the only one that can fix it. These are small things that are given to the media and the media runs with it. And some are giving him backlash. Some are saying that his frustration spoke. Yes, his frustration did speak, but it is a harsh situation for the club since the club is already facing hard moment. And again, only Salah can clear this and apologize for what he did in his actions. Will he? We don't know. We won't know till he does. Well, Liverpool that takes a win, a really controversial win with a penalty really late, and is able to take 3 points in this Champions League. Then we have a Tottenham Hotspur against the Slavia Prague, a Tottenham Hotspur that won 3-0, a dominant performance from Spurs in North London. They control possession to secure a comfortable win, getting 2 goals from the penalty spot, a clean sheet, and a comfortable win for Tottenham, who look comfortable in the playoffs position. So Tottenham looks like they will be going on and they will be playing in the knockouts stages of this to be able to go to the round of 16. If they win the next few games, they can go and qualify directly. All depends what teams win, what teams don't win, what teams tie, what teams don't tie, what teams lose, what teams don't lose. All depends. A lot of things can happen. It's a really tight Champions League at the moment in the league phase. But a Tottenham that has picked up a little bit more rhythm, more form in their domestic league, and it shows that they have been able to translate these to the Champions League. And Tottenham that is in the 11th place, and the Slavia Prague that is in the 33rd spot. That's really, really hard, and some teams won't be able to go on in this Champions League season. But a lot of things still can happen. A lot of things can still develop, and there's still 2 more matches left. Moving on, we have a Villarreal against a Copenhagen. A Villarreal that loses to Copenhagen at home 3-2. Copenhagen wins. A shock home defeat for Villarreal in a seesaw battle. Copenhagen snatched a dramatic 3-2 win, boosting their hopes of sneaking into the playoff round from the 9th to the 24th place. And Villarreal, who have struggled the past 5 games in Champions League, and it's looking hard for them to get into the knockout playoff stage. Villarreal is in the 35th spot, and Copenhagen is in the 24th spot. Copenhagen is right there. Copenhagen is technically in the last spot of the playoff knockout stage. Would they be able to get in? Well, it depends how the next 2 games go. A lot of this will be defined in the last 2 games. For some, it will be defined in the next game. For others, it all depends how the last 2 games go. So maybe teams like Copenhagen can be even boot out due to other teams picking up wins. It's a really amazing table. You can see that a lot of things can go differently, and all that will decide your fate. For those that have been winning, they have nothing to worry about. For those that have only lost 1 or 2 games, they don't have much to worry about. They just have to pick up another win, another 2 wins, or a win and a tie. But for those that have not been winning and now they're picking up wins, they have a lot to worry about. And you can't put your faith on other teams. You have to do your own work so you can qualify directly, or at least be comfortable in an area that you can say, oh, at least we have a chance to go on to round of 16. But those teams that have picked up late, starting to pick up late wins in this Champions League phase, it's going to be really hard because other teams can decide your fate. So a lot of things can happen, a lot of things can go wrong, a lot of things can go right. Going on, we have a quarterback against an Ajax. A quarterback that lost to Ajax 4-2. A goal fest in Azerbaijan. Ajax attack clicked into gear, scoring 4 times to overcome the spirited quarterback side, who managed 2 goals for their own. Ajax that picks a win after losing their first 5 games in the Champions League campaign. Still stuck in the bottom of the table, this win gives hope to stay and get into the knockout playoff stage. Quarterback that is in the 22nd spot, and Ajax that is in the 34th spot. Then after that, we have a Bayern Leverkusen against Newcastle, a game that ended 2-2. A high-intensity draw in Germany. Newcastle went toe-to-toe with the Bundesliga former champions. There's so much football, I really don't remember. But Leverkusen that has a great team and had a great team. It was leading a Newcastle that was leading by 1 at one point, and before Leverkusen clawed back the draw, both teams show quality transition. A Leverkusen that is in the 20th spot and a Newcastle that is in the 12th spot. These 2 teams might look like they're gonna qualify. Leverkusen is in the 20th. In the next 2 matches, anything can happen. Leverkusen can be booted more up in the ladder, more down in the ladder, even out of the qualifying knockout stage, or Newcastle can even be booted down more. So the next 2 matches can decide a lot for a lot of teams. Unless you have been winning or you're in the top 8, you don't have much to worry about. You just gotta secure the wins and you will stay where you at, or you will go up a little bit more and be comfortable. Then after this game, we have an Athletic Club against a PSG, a Paris Saint-Germain. This game ended up 0-0. A frustrating night for PSG at Saint-Mamés. Athletic Club defense heroically to hold the French champions to a goalless draw, denying PSG star-studded attack any space. Athletic Club is in the 28th place, and PSG is in the 3rd place. PSG dropped points but remain comfortably in the upper tier. And Athletic earned a valuable point for their coefficient that can give them a little bit of hope. Depending on how the next 2 games go for Athletic Bilbao. Moving on, we have a Juventus against a Paphos. Juventus that won by 2-0. And Juventus completed a professional job against Cypriot Paphos. 2 goals were enough to seal the win without expending too much energy. Juventus that is in the 17th spot, and Paphos that is in the 26th spot. Then on, we have a Borussia Dortmund against a Bochum, a game that ended tie 2-2. A surprise result at the Signal Iduna Park. The Norwegian side bowed up prove their worth, holding Dortmund to a 2-2 draw despite the yellow wall support. And Dortmund that is in the 10th spot, and Bodo that is in the 32nd spot. In this game, something beautiful is Borussia played home. Marco Reus came back, and he was on the field, say hello to the fans. But this is so beautiful that a professional player is something that has been done before, yes. But it's lovely to see it again. Marco Reus not only went and said hello to the fans, but he went and put himself with the fans in the stands. It's a really, really beautiful thing to see. A club legend that devoted himself to Borussia not only goes to say hello and goes back home, but he also puts himself in the stands with the yellow wall. And it's really beautiful to see that, he gave so much on the field, and now he's giving energy from the stands as one of the fans. So it's a beautiful cycle to see. And somebody like Royce that dedicated his life to Borussia Dortmund, is props to him. Beautiful thing. And this is energy that is needed, energy that is wanted, and energy that helps the fans and the team. Going on after that, we have a Benfica against a Napoli. A Benfica against a Napoli. A Benfica that produced a disciplined performance to defeat Napoli 2-0 in Lisbon. A critical result for their playoffs hope. Conte says that his record in Champions League worries him, and Napoli should have won, but they arrived cooked. In other words, the overload of games. Players were tired. Something we will be seeing often is players playing every 2-3 days, most likely every 2 days. And rotation and squad depth is coming to play, and some teams will struggle on this. It's something that I've been saying and I've been stressing. If football keeps going the way that it's going, you will be seeing this often. Players picking a lot of muscle injuries. Yes, they have justified it with 5 subs. But if you ask any coach, would they rather put somebody from the bench or leave their best guys out there? Players playing and just looking at how many minutes players have, the answer is obvious. You don't have to go ask coaches. The statistics pretty much explain it. But it's something that we're going to see. Squad depth, how many coaches have great squads, how many coaches are able to rotate the teams the right way so they don't lose momentum, they don't lose form, they don't lose structure, and they don't lose execution of strategy in their teams. So it's something that we'll be seeing really more now that the season is going on, and more that we getting into the season of not only Champions League but domestic leagues too. But it's something that we'll be seeing the depth of the squad. The depth of the squad is going to be very important. It's going to come to a critical point in the season. I mean, you have teams like Arsenal, you have teams like Real Madrid, you have a lot of teams. These are just 2 teams, but you have a lot of teams that are picking up a lot of muscle injuries from too much games, too many games. They justify it with the 5 subs. Not every coach is willing to sub their players because every game is important. Some want to win every game. Not everybody wants to lose, and not everybody wants to tie. So winning is a must, and injuries will come from that. And more when you're playing your players every 2-3 days, and you have high intensity practice and you have high intensity games. These things are bound to happen. The 5 subs don't really justify it, because even then you have subs that have high intensity practices and subs that have high intensity contribution in games, and injuries are bound to happen when you're playing often and you're practicing often. So a lot of that will come into play. But in Napoli, a Conte that lets that known that the players, they had a squad there, but the players looked like they were cooked, and it happens. And teams will struggle on this. And in this game, we also have a Mourinho that was given a jersey by McTominay. One of the reporters actually asked him, what do you have in the bag? And he said, well, I have a shirt that it was given to me by McTominay. That's the least he can do, since I benched Pogba for him so he could debut and play in when he was at Manchester United. So I mean, it's understandable. It is the least he could do for him, if you ask me. And it's a nice gesture from McTominay, even though they lost. But you know, everything stays on the field. The sportsmanship and everything is what matters after you're off the field. But you know, when you're playing on the field, you're playing on the field. Everything you do on the field stays on the field, and sportsmanship matters off the field. But a Benfica that is in the 25th spot, and a Napoli that is in the 23rd spot. Then we have a Club Brugge against an Arsenal. 6 out of 6. An Arsenal that visits Club Brugge and wins away by 3. 6 out of 6. Arsenal cruise past Brugge to maintain their perfect 18-point record. They are the only team to win all 6 Champions League phase games so far. Arsenal had to play with a makeshift defense, but in the end results came and they secured the top place. They secured the first place in this Champions League, and it's most likely for them to stay like that and for them to stay up top. And in this game we have Madueke, who scored 2 goals. Madueke that scored a solo amazing goal, a shot that was well taken. And some say that since he's not a Mbappe, he's not a Haaland, he's not gonna be looked at. But listen, I mean, those that appreciate the game and no game, game is game. So those that know, and those that don't, then they support only their teams. So if you love the game and you know the game, look at that goal, and it's a well executed shot, an amazing shot, really strong shot. And Madueke, I believe Madueke can do a lot in Arsenal. He's just needs probably a little bit more minutes, but it's something hard because at the same time Arsenal has, a player like Saka, who is a captain and he has been there longer. But in the end, whoever's able to perform and contribute more will be the ones getting that starting position. So Arsenal is well shaped, but they are seeing a lot of missing pieces in the defense, with a lot of players picking up injuries. And they play with a makeshift defense. They put a midfielder in the defense, and they were able to get this wing. Let's see if some of their center backs come back for next game in the Champions League, or if they will be able to come back on this upcoming league game. But Arsenal is facing a lot of obstacles when it comes to the defense. But an Arsenal that gets this win, 6 out of 6. Not every team can say that. Arsenal lost their first game in the Premier League, but they still maintain their perfect record in the Champions League. So it's something to be proud of as an Arsenal fan and as an Arsenal team. And a Brugge that is in the 31st spot and an Arsenal that is in the first spot. So if you really think about it, 30 spots in between. Arsenal has a great team, has momentum. They're just picking up injuries, and it's hard. Some teams can figure it out, other teams cannot. Even if some teams are close and you win, a win is a win. So you walk away with a win, even if it was a sloppy goal that helped you win. A win is a win, and if you want to win it, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And something I stick with is what Thierry said is, sometimes it's the fear of that you never won is bigger. And for those that have heard Thierry say that, it is a big fear, because you never won anything. So you face that, and thinking about it, feeling it, and digesting it, it is really, really, it's bigger than you. But you gotta stick to the purpose and go through it. And Thierry that has run, and was in the Arsenal team. So those are wise words coming from a player with a lot of experience, a player that has been at the top with Arsenal, but he never had that taste of a Champions League with Arsenal either. But a player that has the experience whatsoever about a Champions League, but he was just not able to achieve it at Arsenal. But he's talking in behalf of being a fan of this Arsenal team, and at the same time, due to him going through Arsenal and being there and showing love to that team, he understands what they're going through and how they must face it psychologically. But an Arsenal that looks pretty good, it's just injuries that are not helping the team at the moment. But if they are able to get their players back, an Arsenal that looks pretty strong and is being solid at the moment, even though they have picked a few injuries. And the last game of all is a game that a lot of football fans, not only Real Madrid or Manchester City fans, were looking forward. A lot of football fans that just love high quality games, technical, physical games that, again, when either team grab the ball, you just start questioning what can happen right away. It puts you on the edge. If you love these heavyweight clashes. And the last game is Real Madrid against Manchester City. A Manchester City that wins away 2-1. A heavyweight clash in the marquee matchup of the week. This was the game of the week. We all know that they have tried to make this like a European derby, because these two teams give a lot of great football overall. And City outplayed Real Madrid despite a late push from Real Madrid. City held for a statement 2-1 victory. Game where Doku was giving problems to this Real Madrid defense on the left wing. This guy he's fast. He's fast. He's too fast. I don't think there is a defender out there that can match his speed, and not only his speed but the dribbling, on being able to hold him, on how quick he is with those feet. I believe that if you are a football fan, if you are a kid growing up and right now watching such player, this is a player that has quick feet, quick feet, and he's just hard, really hard to stop when he's in movement, when he is facing you and trying to dribble. Either he goes inward or he goes out to the wing. It's just he can put you on a spiral. And he had that left wing Real Madrid defense on a spiral. He had Rodrigo on a spiral. He had Asensio on a spiral. And he had Valverde on a spiral. He had two defenders on spiral. Really hard. Three players were having a hard time with Doku. Props to Doku, who created a few chances. And he was unbalancing that left wing. He was totally unbalancing it, making it hard for Real Madrid the whole game, to the point that he came out. And it was a great game from him. I believe he could have contributed way more. And Man City held and played the Man City style. For those that know, they held the ball, they opened the field, they tried to create. And Real Madrid tried to play the counter attack. And this is what helped Real Madrid to get the first goal in the game in the 28th minute through Rodrigo. It was the counter attack, transition from the left to the middle to the right, and Rodrigo saw that open space, won a little bit of space with his pace, and he took that shot across, grounded, and that was the first goal. And Madrid that has seen a lot of injuries also on their defense, but Real Madrid had a solid game, but it was just not enough. A City that overturned an early deficit through Riley, and then Haaland converted a decisive penalty to win it. A high-profile clash. Guardiola's team picking up their best form at the moment, and Real Madrid that's facing backlash for not injecting the same intensity every game. The fans were pissed. The fans in Madrid were pissed, but this Madrid has been so inconsistent. Inconsistency. We saw from the beginning of the season what this Xavi's team is capable of doing, but the players on the field are not doing it. They are not doing it. What does that mean? What does that give off? It's really hard to understand, but Xavi has the right idea. But you having the right idea doesn't mean the players will execute it the right way. Some players at the time seem lazy. They don't seem like they want to defend. And now in today's football, the 11 players have to defend. The 11 players have to attack. It's a team sport at the end of the day, but Xavi has the right he has the right idea, but it's not getting executed well by the Real Madrid players. They're not putting that intensity in the game. They're not doing as he says. You can tell that they are not doing their best. What are the reasons? Only the squad and the management team knows. But Real Madrid that has been running their fans through headaches, and fans that are starting to lose it. Some fans want Xavi out, some fans want certain players out, but in reality, it's not the coaching. The coaching is not the problem. The coaching is not the problem in this Real Madrid. Is what the players are doing in the field. When they lose the ball, are they getting the ball back, pressuring right away? These are things that Xavi wants, and the players are not doing it. You cannot force somebody. Yes, you can put them in your starting 11, but you cannot force somebody at the end of the day. He's trying to lead the ship, but the people in the ship want to do otherwise, and that's really hard. Once those players are in the field, they're in the field, and whether they want to listen to him or follow his way is really hard. But Real Madrid facing a lot of backlash and not injecting the same intensity every game. Some games you see high intensity, other games you don't see high intensity. We saw this against Athletic Club. They injected a lot of intensity in that game. Then they go and play against Celta. They didn't inject intensity in that game. They played calm. Then they were 10 men down, and then that's when they decided to wake up, and they were already 1-0 down. They get also two players thrown out by Reds, and they wake up, and sometimes that will work. Sometimes it won't work. But if you play your own game, and from the first whistle blow you just go and inject intensity, the game is gonna go in your favor when you have such a great squad. But if you're just playing calm, waiting, you get scored on, then you try to wake up, and then you go a man down, it's just you are making all the probabilities go against you. The odds are going against you at that point. And sometimes, yes, you can respond back, but in that Celta game, you go two men down, then that just hits you, and it leaves you with holes in your formation, and you get punished. You will get punished when such things happen, and you do such actions. But a Real Madrid that comes into this Manchester City game putting intensity, and not with their starting lineup, not with their starting players, but those that play, they try to contribute, they put in intensity in this game. It's just a Real Madrid that was not fine enough, a Real Madrid that had a lot of shots, but they were not fine enough to be able to get this win. And it was a really tight game, 2-1, only 3 goals. Riley gets the goal that leveled the game, and then you have an Erling Haaland that takes a penalty, a Rudiger that is known for being rough, and sadly he might have gotten a little bit too much in his mind, and he gets a penalty. And one thing I have noticed is 100% of the time that the penalty is being reviewed, or the play is being reviewed, and the referee gets called to go and review it on the screen, it's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a penalty. Today's football has become really controversial, and when it comes to certain fouls and plays and VAR in general, but it's just they're trying to better the game at the same time. Some people don't like it, but some decisions come from the boards. They don't come from the fans, and it would be nice if it was a democratic vote. when it comes to such rules being passed. But these are things that happen in the game. And Real Madrid played well. However, Man City was more reluctant, keeping the score on their side. And what will happen with Xavi? Personally, I believe he's a great coach. It's just the players are not executing his strategy the right way, and they're not doing as he says. And he should be able to get the authority to do what he thinks. He brought a team like Bayern Leverkusen to top in the Bundesliga, and with players that were, yes, talented, but not world class players. So that means that it was also his part of doing so, because as soon as he left, we can see what's going on in Bayern Leverkusen. So that's just a perspective of looking at it. And he has the right mind, he has the right strategy, but whether the players want to execute it the way that he's trying to put it in the field, that all depends how the players see him, if they love him, if they agree with him or not. But they all say that they're behind him, and Rodrigo should be able to start. Rodrigo should be able to be on that starting lineup because he made difference. He was the only player who created danger on that Real Madrid side, and it's a really, really tight area when you have a Vinicius and Mbappe and you have a Rodrigo. It's really hard to play those three, but each one should be able to find their niche in the field and be able to perform at their best in that area that they are best at. But it happens, and now Madrid have a lot of problems to deal with. They have only won 2 out of the last 8 games, so Real Madrid board will be looking for answers, putting more pressure, but sometimes, without pressure, we don't seek better solutions. And if you don't put pressure on yourself either, then you're not going to move anywhere. You're not going to seek better results. But a milestone for Erling Haaland that has played 54 Champions League games and scoring 55 goals, the fastest player to get to 50 goals in Champions Leagues. But this Champions League shows that a Arsenal is most likely being qualified with 18 points, a Bayern Munich being qualified with 15 points, a Paris Saint-Germain being qualified with 13 points, a Manchester City being qualified with 13 points, and the Atalanta being qualified with 13 points. They are most likely qualified mathematically. Mathematically, they are most likely qualified. But if we really look in this Champions League, and then we look at this table, we see that Arsenal is up there, 3-point gap from second place. But then you have also Bayern, who's up there, secure 3-point gap from third place. But then from third place to fifth place, you have 3 teams that have 13 points: PSG, Manchester City, Atalanta. Then you have from sixth place all the way to ninth place, you have 4 teams with 12 points. Then you have from 10th place to 11th place 2 teams with 11 points. And then you go from 12th place all the way to 15th place, 4 teams with 10 points. And then on top of that, you go lower, you have 5 teams. You have 5 teams with 9 points from 16th place all the way to 20th place. So from here to all the way here, from second place, from third place all the way to 20th place, a lot of things can change. This area right here is where the cutoff is. From 8th place to 1st place, these teams will qualify automatically to the 16th round. And then from 9th place all the way to 24th place, these teams will be going to play the knockout stage playoff. So from the 15th place all the way to the 3rd place, a lot of things can go differently in the next 2 matches. But Arsenal is most likely secured. Bayern is most likely secured. It's just next game, depending on how it goes, both teams can already say, okay, it's fine whether we lose or win the match day 8. It doesn't really matter. But from 3rd place to 5th place, again, things can change. These places can shift, and also not only there, but from third place all the way to 11th place. Things can shift on the next two matches, but we can see things changing from third place to 20th place. We can see a lot of shifts depending on how the next two matches go. Mathematically, again, the top 5 are qualified, but things still can change. This Champions League is looking good, it's looking tight, but only a few will be able to qualify. Only the top 8 will be able to qualify right away. Atletico de Madrid and Liverpool are right next to each other, 12 points each. 12 points. This and Real Madrid and Inter, these 4 spots at the moment can change in the next 2 matches. Anything can happen in the next 2 matches. The only ones that are saved at the top is most likely Arsenal and maybe Bayern, depending on their form. But if we look at the games, if we look at their consistency, I will say these top 2 are safe to go on. But from third place all the way to 20th place, many things can change. Some people can go up the ladder, some people can go down the ladder, some can stay where they at. But a lot of things can happen in this Champions League, and it's looking really good though. It's looking really, really good in this Champions League. But this is all for today. This is all for this Champions League, which is match day 6. This is all for today. Thank you for those that are here and those that are watching and seeing this. And this is all for today. Champions League that is getting really, really tight, and only certain teams are picking up the wins they need, and only certain teams will be going directly, not all of those. And then from 9th place to 24th place will be going to the knockout stage, to the knockout playoff, which we'll be seeing in away and home game for those that are in those spots by match day 8. This is all for today. Thank you for being with me. Esto es Pase Ambidiestro. Ambidextrous pass. Fútbol honestamente. Soccer, football honestly. Thank you for being with me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good one. Have a great day. Thank you all.